This is Tar Heel Talk, an in-depth look at the issues and people making news in North Carolina. Here's your host, Sonia Williams.
Today's show highlights an organization that provides clothing and shoes to homeless and low-income children in the Wake County area. It's called Note in the Pocket, and here's more.
Note in the Pocket began in 2005 when a recently graduated college student got her first job at a very impoverished school locally. Her little kindergarten class came in and she was upset to see that many of them had no breakfast that morning, that their clothes were threadbare. She called her mom and she said, "How do I teach these children? They're not prepared to learn." So they decided they were going to make sure that each of those children got a new coat before it got cold. The day came and they gave the children the coats, but the next day many of the coats were returned because the families couldn't believe anybody would give their child a coat. So they put a note in the pocket that said, "This coat is your child's to keep. It's a gift from the community." And that's who Note in the Pocket is. We're the community. Note in the Pocket works with the Wake County Public School System and a dozen local agencies that serve families in financial crisis. And what we do is we identify students in most need of our services and we package mini wardrobes in that child-specific sizes that include new socks, new underwear, tennis shoes, and enough outfits that you can mix and match and layer to get through a season's worth of school clothes.
Our clothing donations come from the public. They all come into the center. We look at every piece of clothing that we have to make sure that it's the best quality for our children. It is labeled and sized and put on a shelf. We get enough clothing to mix and match for 2 weeks worth of school. They are packaged up quite nicely with our little love note in the top of the bag. Then they are either delivered to the schools by volunteer drivers or they're picked up here at the center by social workers who then deliver them to the families.
To continue the program of Note in the Pocket, we always need volunteers. We need a steady supply of clothes. As our program gets larger and we're able to reach more students, we need bigger facilities. We need to be able to be open longer hours, and that takes financial support. We provide clothes to children in Wake County with dignity and love. It is our goal to allow them to arrive at school dressed for academic success.
What a powerful story. And joining me now are two leaders with Note in the Pocket, Dallas Bonavita, Executive Director, and Bryony Voorhees, Assistant Operations Manager. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
That, like I said, was such a powerful story and a great overview of Note in the Pocket and how it's living out its mission. Dallas, talk a little bit about the mission of this organization.
Well, it started with a teacher who recognized that so many of her students in her class just didn't have everything they needed. Many of them slept on the floor, their clothes were threadbare, they hadn't had breakfast, they just weren't prepared to learn, and she wanted to do something about it. So she and her family decided they were going to help. And it has grown from that. The need in Wake County is so dramatic. We say it's the best kept secret in Wake County that it's such a devastating need. 53,000 students in the Wake County Public School System qualify for our services.
Wow. And when you talk about 53,000 just here in Wake County alone, sure. That's shocking.
Shocking. It's 1 in 3 of the Wake County public population.
Wow. Yeah. And I think a lot of people probably don't realize that and wouldn't unless they were working very closely with the students.
Exactly. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the day-to-day operations, because what you're doing is providing, really a lifeline for a lot of these students. So Bryony, take us through the process. Where are you getting the clothes and what happens once you receive them?
Sure. So the clothes come in, we get donations from the public, and they come in and then we sort them. And our goal is to sort clothes that are appropriate for kids to wear to school. Okay. And then once we have sorted them, then we fold them and we put them on the shelf. We get an order from a social worker. They tell us the age of the child, the gender of the child, and their sizes. We never know their name. It's always anonymous. and then we put 2 weeks worth of school clothes together. And this is an example of what we would put together for a
So
child.
this is an example of what you put together for a little girl. You have your
Yes.
shoes and your shirts and pants and a kind of a fleece cover.
We always have some type of a jacket or a sweater that we provide, because even in summer, in air conditioning, it still can be chilly.
Right.
And then we always put a note at the top that says you are loved.
Absolutely, and that has to be something very special for a child who's in dire straits to receive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our students are trying to live at school, trying to be under the radar. They don't want the other students to notice that their clothes are not like everybody else's, that they're living in poverty. So they're not speaking up in class, they're not participating, they're not making friends like they would be, they're just not as outgoing. So we're trying to let them arrive at school, feel comfortable, confident, and dress for academic success.
And that's important. When you talk about receiving your donations, as we saw in the video, they're carefully inspected. So, you're really, the children are receiving quality, high quality clothing.
Absolutely, and we want our kids, because this is what our kids want, they want to look like everybody else. So a little girl that receives these are clothes that another little girl or other girls in her class are going to wear. And also you can see these are in excellent condition. So we look for stains, for rips, for tears, because we want the quality of our clothing to be like a gift. So when these kids get them, they are receiving a gift from us.
And it takes a lot of volunteers to make all of this happen. What are some of the opportunities for volunteers that you have throughout the year?
Well, we have many opportunities. One, to sort through clothes. We have opportunities to fold clothes, to get them on the shelves. We have people who actually choose the clothes and they bag them and get them ready for the social workers. We also need drivers, people who can drive them to the social workers, to the schools, so the social workers can then deliver them.
And how can people get connected with you to sign up for some of those volunteer opportunities?
So they can go to our website and sign up to volunteer, and we'll go from there.
Okay, and your website is noteinthepocket.org, or they can call 919-714-9403. As you're looking at the operation from where it started with just one teacher's desire to help her students to now helping hundreds of children in Wake County each month, that has to be mind-blowing in such a short amount of time.
Oh, absolutely. We used to do 100 requests for clothes a month. Now we average 300 requests, and typically now in the last couple of months it's been closer to 400, almost 500 requests a month. And it's hard. It's a challenge to keep enough on the shelves. So you think 400 requests for clothes, we typically send about 10 shirts. It's 4,000 shirts a month that are going out. To date, we've sent out about 82,000 items of clothing and shoes donated clothes valued at over $500,000.
Wow, that is a lot. And how do you keep your supply going?
It's one of those things where once the community knows what you're doing, they're very supportive. The donations that we get are higher quality because they want our students to have what their kids have, and they want good quality. Churches will do clothing drives, businesses will do drives, especially they come from all over. And people know what we're doing, they support it. And 2 years ago, we got 24,000 pounds of clothes donated. This year, we'll have over 100,000 pounds of clothes donated.
And that need is growing each year.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to take a break, and we'll talk more in just a minute.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Still to come on Tar Heel Talk, how local teams are helping students in need. We'll hear from teen volunteers when we come back. Note in the Pocket is a local nonprofit that collects clothing for children whose families struggle with the basic necessities. The organization provides clothing for hundreds of students each month. And joining me now to tell us how other youth are reaching out is Rebecca Strangio, president of the Teen Board, and Catherine Green, Teen Board member. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Rebecca, you are a senior at Panther Creek High School and president of the Teen Board. What exactly is the role of the Teen Board when it comes to Note in the Pocket?
So Teen Board is a group of 25 selected high schoolers, and we do have one middle schooler. And we work to fundraise for Note in the Pocket, brainstorm different ideas that can help fundraise. We also volunteer with the organization, and we're just throughout the community trying to help out as much as we can.
Okay. And Catherine, you are a junior at Ravenscroft School here in Raleigh. Why did you decide to get involved with the Teen Board?
I really loved the idea of the Teen Board. I think since Note in the Pocket serves so many Wake County schools and we're all students ourselves, I love that we're helping students helping students, we're helping our peers, and to me that's something that's really special.
Absolutely. And Rebecca, what about you?
You know, like Catherine said, it could be the boy across from me, the girl next to me. These are kids here. We're making a difference here in Wake County. These are kids sitting right next to us, and that's why I wanted to join.
What are some of the activities that the Teen Board has done over the past few months, and what are your plans for the remainder of the school year?
So this November, we started out with contacting schools and local businesses, and this was kind of to help warm up as this was our first year starting, and we're very excited, and at our next meeting we're going to announce how many clothes we raise and the monetary donations that we've come up with. But in the future we're going to have a run that Note in the Pocket has, I believe, in April, yes, and we're very excited for that.
Okay, so you're going to have a run, and that's to help raise money because it takes money as well as the volunteers and the donations to keep the organization going. When you look at your reasons for being a part of this organization, you know, when you talk about the need and the mission is really serving children and who are in dire straits, what part of the work that you're doing on the Teen Board gives you the most satisfaction?
Like I said before, I love that we're helping other students, and I think the best part for me to see is that the work that we put into it is benefiting kids in schools that we used to go to and schools that we're familiar with, and to me that's really powerful and heartwarming just to see all the work that we do and how that benefits kids just like us.
What warms your heart, Rebecca?
The slogan of Note in the Pocket is clothing children with dignity and love, and I love that aspect. You know, before joining this organization I knew there was a need, but I had no idea the amount of children, the 53,000. That's just so unimaginable.
Do you think that other teenagers really understand the need? Because, like you said, 53,000 is a lot, and that's something I think that would be important to share to get other teens to help.
Of course.
Definitely. I think teenagers are really eager to help out in the community. They just don't know how. There's not a lot of organizations out there that give teenagers opportunity to serve, but Note in the Pocket is one of the few that does. And I mean, when you turn 16, you can come in by yourself and sort clothes and look through the donations that we get. And I would encourage any teenager just to come in for an hour or two and see the process that we do. And I think that'd be really eye-opening for anyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, as you look over the remainder of your time on the Teen Board, what are some of your goals?
I think I definitely want to raise awareness. I've told all of my friends, I've tried to raise awareness on social media, just trying to get the news out that this is an issue affecting us right here at home. This isn't somewhere else, another state, another country. This is here. This is the person sitting next to you. This is the person you're passing by in the supermarket. It's here.
Right. And I know that your school communities have also rallied around the organization and provided support where they can.
Yeah. And of course local businesses.
Absolutely, and that is all very important. We thank you both so much for being, spokespersons for teenagers and for a Note in the Pocket and all the work that they're doing to help, like you said, children who you may go to school with or go to church with and have this need and not be aware of it.
Definitely.
So we want to tell people again how they can find out more about Note in the Pocket. If they can go to the website noteinthepocket.org or call 919-714-9403. Catherine Green and Rebecca Strangio, thank you both for being such great representatives for the community, for your schools, and for your family. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you
so
having
much.
us.
We'll be back with more on Note in the Pocket after these messages. Welcome back to Tar Heel Talk. I'm Sonia Williams. We're talking today about Note in the Pocket, a nonprofit that provides clothing to homeless and low-income children throughout Wake County. And with us again is the executive director of the organization, Dallas Bonavita. Also joining us is Darlene Johnson, director of School Social Work, Counseling, and Student Services for Wake County Public Schools. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Darlene, you are working with students, and social workers who work with you are working with students across Wake County. And so you see the need from a very different vantage point. Talk a little bit about what you and your colleagues are seeing on a daily basis with students.
I think one of the things that we see is an increasing need. Things that we didn't see 10 years ago, we're seeing more of. We have many students who are in transition or are homeless or need to flee their homes if there's a fire or, and it's much more difficult to get back on their feet. Note in the Pocket is one of those points of contact where we can join with the family, and it's a bridge for us to reach out to them. Sometimes that might be the first indication that there might be more there that we can help with.
So this partnership with Note in the Pocket, you refer families or you actually go and pick up clothing? I know that there are multiple ways of partnering and helping support these children in need.
Right. Sometimes the referrals are families that we already are working with. Sometimes teachers may bring us into the mixture, and sometimes families themselves will ask for assistance. It's a referral that is probably one of the easiest, and it's a pleasure to work with Note in the Pocket. They make our jobs easy because what we want to do is provide students with clothing that it truly is. It's with dignity. Right. We want to give them something that they're feeling proud to wear and feel good about it. And there are no questions asked. It's just a, here you go. This is a need. And it's a pleasurable experience to be able to take the referral, send it on to Note in the Pocket, pick up the clothing, take it to the families, and it's one of the easiest things that we can do that makes a huge impact.
Right. And I think that some people, a lot of us, most of us are blessed to have clean clothing, nice clothing to wear on a daily basis. So I think that, some people may not even realize just how important this is, especially to a child when you're talking about educationally, socially, and emotionally. So when you see that, you get to deliver that, and it's like Christmas morning all year long when you're doing that. Talk a little bit about the impact that not having adequate clothing can have on a student.
Students may not feel like they want to come to school. They may be embarrassed because they have the one pair of shoes, and you have a story to share about that. They may not have clothing that matches or is too big or too small. Students may talk behind their back about it. There can be instances where, You know, the clothing is just it's just, you know, it's ripped or torn, or I think socially and emotionally that makes a big difference when you can walk in feeling confident about how you look.
And you're talking about dire need, not someone looking for the latest
No.
fashions.
Right.
This is a true need, and I know that you've heard many stories over the years about that.
Right. The students that we're reaching are the ones in most need of our services, and that's where the social workers come in, because they know, you know, in a school setting, who the families are that are really struggling. The students that are missing school because they don't have what they need. The student that will step out of his shoe because they're falling apart. You know, we had a middle school girl who came to school every day with her shoes duct taped together. Her mother would fix them with silver duct tape, and it's a humiliating process. We had two little boys. They were brothers, different ages, but they would take turns going to school depending on whose turn it was to wear the shoes. We provided clothes to this one family, and we got a nice letter from the mother, and she said, "I never anticipated being a mother who had to tell her children no at every turn. And when these clothes arrived and my children saw them," and when we package clothes, we package with dignity and love, and the clothes, our quality control process is, would you be happy to receive this as a gift? Would you be happy to give this as a gift? And if it doesn't meet that standard, our children don't get them. So this mother, her children were pulling the clothes out of the bag, and she said, "I wish you could have seen my daughter skip to the school bus. It was the happiest I have seen her. And my son walked out of our house with his head a little bit higher. And the daughter came home, and she had talked to a new girl at school, and socially, emotionally, academically, this is where things can change. You know how you feel when you get to work and you feel like you look good, and you know, you dress up for an interview. Well, every day at school is like that. You know, you have that opportunity to go in and make the most of something, to feel good about, you know, these children will answer a question and like, you know, get it right, and the teacher will say you did a good job on the test, and they like how that feels. And this is where our opportunity is to make their life a little bit better and to give them that motivation to help them make their lives better.
Absolutely. Totally life-changing
Yes.
for a child. How can people find out more about Note in the Pocket and really about your needs? Because the donations are wonderful, but like you were saying earlier, you have a huge facility and need a lot of help keeping
Yes.
that going.
People think, well, we donate all these clothes, that's all you need. You know, you provide the clothes to the children, but we have a 5,600 square foot facility, and we have staffing needs. You know, we have volunteers that come in 4 days a week, and often nights and weekends, and you have to have somebody to open the door and to lead those volunteer opportunities. So it does take financial support for the volunteer center and the staff. We will have reached over 3,500 individuals this year. We've already done that. So our goal was 3,000 children. We did that by the end of October. So financial support is important, but definitely to visit the website, to contact us. Anyone who's interested in helping, we would absolutely love to have them.
Okay, and that website is noteinthepocket.org, or they can call 919-714-9403. We have about a minute left in the program. Darlene, you, like I said, you're working with these students on a daily basis. What does Note in the Pocket mean to children in need here in Wake County?
It fills a huge void. It really does. We have so many students, increasing numbers every year, like you said, that really need that. And it is a way to bridge our services in case there are other needs besides clothing. But clothing is a huge one. We want students to come to school. If you don't come to school, you can't learn.
Absolutely.
This is a piece of that.
Definitely important work. Darlene Johnson with Wake County Public Schools and Dallas Bonavita, Executive Director of Note in the Pocket. Thank you both for the work that you're doing, and thank you for being with us today.
Having us.
That's it for this week's Tar Heel Talk. To comment on this or other episodes of the show, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, or send an email to tarheeltalk@fox50.com. I'm Sonia Williams. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next week.